What is the Ring of Fire? Not that Ring of Fire, the one in the Middle East, encircling Israel. Brilliant? Effective? How can Israel defeat it? For at least 25 years, Iran has been financing and weaponizing anti-Israel militias. Apparently, the Iranian Ayatollahs believe their Messiah, or Mahdi, will appear only after Jews and non-believers are destroyed. Hence their effort to encircle and destroy Israel. This has been labeled the Ring of Fire by a former Israeli national security advisor. The Ring of Fire is the brainchild of a former Iranian general, Soleimani. He theorized if enough missiles surround Israel, they can all fire at one time, and no need to fight the Israeli military. Target civilians so that nobody will stay in Israel for fear of being killed. Soleimani was assassinated by the US in 2020. Soleimani was a designated terrorist who killed hundreds of Americans and Israelis. But upon his death, the Washington Post called him a, quote, most revered military leader, end quote. As usual, Washington Post quickly scrubbed their headlines from the internet. Only a year earlier, the Washington Post called a dead ISIS leader a, quote, austere religious scholar, end of quote. Soleimani was a brilliant evil terrorist with a vision of destroying Israel. 1 million people attended his funeral in Iran, where a stampede killed 56. His death was mourned by the usual terrorist groups: Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, MSNBC. Let's discuss exactly what the Ring of Fire is. But first, hey, welcome to the channel. My name is James, and here we will discuss and analyze Mideast news. Perhaps a different view than that of the mainstream media. Back to the Ring of Fire. It's quite the plan if you are a terrorist maniac. Let's check the map. Israel here is orange colored. Gaza is to the west in light green. Since Israel completely withdrew from Gaza in 2005, Hamas has fired an estimated 17,000 missiles towards Israel. About 1,000 missiles every year for 17 years. Israel is very patient. I don't have patience like that. Of course not. I'm an American. Iran helps Hamas smuggle rockets in, mainly through tunnels under the Egyptian border. That is why the city of Rafah in southern Gaza and the border with Egypt is so critical for both Israel and Hamas. Now, after 10 months of war, Israel controls all the Gaza borders, so Hamas is no longer a threat. Even after the recent assassination of the Hamas leader Haniyeh, all Hamas could do was vow revenge and reportedly kill a hostage. They have hostages, but no real military left. The media will not report this, but Israel is simply in a mopping up phase in Gaza. The war is essentially over. Yet the news and politicians speak daily about ending the war with a, quote, ceasefire. What they really mean is for Israel to leave Gaza. To the north is Lebanon in dark green. The terrorist group Hezbollah controls it, and they are supported by Iran. In this news article, an Iranian leader brags that Hezbollah in Lebanon has over 100,000 missiles ready to, quote, annihilate Israel, a common threat. The extra sad part is the date of the article, 2016, 8 years ago. Now, Hezbollah likely has closer to 200,000 missiles. Again, Israel is very patient. I can't imagine living in a country that is bombed almost daily, year after year, and continuously threatened with destruction. But that's just me. Israel fought Hezbollah in the 2006 Lebanon War. That war ended with a UN Security Council ceasefire deal in which Hezbollah was to completely disarm. That never happened, not even for one day. The UN basically said, not my problem. Now we know the value of a Mideast ceasefire deal. But Hezbollah is different than Hamas. Hamas is a pure terrorist group. They are global jihadists. No interest at all in governing Gaza, except as a stepping stone to attack Israel. Listen to Hamas leader Khaled Mashal explain this earlier this year.
حتى بعض المحبين كانوا يخشون علينا أنه السلطة تغيرنا، وما علموا أن السلطة كانت اضطرارا وإدارة لخدمة الناس ولرعاية المقاومة وتوفير الغطاء السياسي والإداري في كل المؤسسات لإعطاء المقاومة مساحة من العمل مفتوحة. استغلينا وجودنا في السلطة في بناء المقاومة بكل أدواتها، أسلحتها، تصنيعها، التخطيط.
By the way, who wants to sell this guy a life insurance policy? Hezbollah, unlike Hamas, is actually a political party running a country. They are sensitive to Lebanese citizens' viewpoints. Most Lebanese, especially the almost 40% that are not Muslim, do not want a war with Israel. They still remember 2006 when Israel made life miserable by taking out their infrastructure, roads, bridges, electrical plants, etc. They don't want to return to the Stone Age again. If you enjoy this video, please take a moment to like and subscribe. That way you will get my next video. It answers the question, why is Iran delaying its revenge? Okay, to the northeast, we see Syria in yellow, a very unstable country fighting a civil war these past 13 years. Iran weaponizes and controls many Shiite militias in Syria. U.S. military bases in Syria and Iraq are under attack almost daily by these groups. We also see the West Bank to the east of Israel. Its border with Jordan is mountainous and quite porous, so Iran helps smuggle weapons through the border into the West Bank. Quite the ring of fire. In this next map, we zoom out. We still see Gaza to the west of Israel, Lebanon to the north, and Syria to the northeast. And now we add Iraq to the east. Like Syria, Iraq is a very unstable country with several Iranian-backed terrorist militias. And further to the east, we have Iran, with the largest missile arsenal in the Middle East. To the south, we complete the ring of fire with the Houthis in Yemen, a very poor country, also Iran-financed and weaponized. These past 10 months, the Houthis have fired hundreds of missiles and drones at Israel, but they are very far away and they miss. Until several weeks ago, when one of their drones hit a Tel Aviv building and killed a man. I'm not sure who is happier, the Houthis or the New York Times. Both groups have such a passionate hatred for Israel, it's hard to tell. The headline should not read, drone, quote, evades Israel's defenses. It should read, drone kills civilian man in Tel Aviv. The New York Times victim blames Israel for not shooting it down. Israel wasn't so thrilled at Yemen's success, and they sent jets over 1,000 miles to bomb Yemen's largest port, the Hodeidah port. The bombing was very impressive. It sent a powerful message, especially to Iran. Look at the map. Yemen is further from Israel than Iran is. Distance won't make Iran untouchable. The worst part of the Ring of Fire is that Iran has improved their precision-guided missiles and is passing that high-tech knowledge on to their proxies. With each year, the Ring of Fire becomes more tight, the number of missiles grow, and their precision increases. This map shows an attack by Iran on Israel that happened a few months ago, after Israel assassinated an Iranian general in Syria. This was the first direct attack by Iran on Israel. The attack was 300 missiles and drones. Almost all were shot down by Israel, ships of the US, the UK, and France, as well as Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE, a very unusual alliance. The Sunni Arab countries are as afraid of Shiite Iran as Israel is, and well, they should be. Sunnis and Shiites have waged war for hundreds of years. The attack shows the eastern side of the Ring of Fire, Syria to the northeast, and Iraq and Iran to the east, and Yemen on the south. Of the 300 missiles, 99% were shot down, but we know Lebanon could have added 3,000 extra missiles or even 30,000 missiles, and perhaps overwhelmed Israel's defenses. The Ring of Fire induces weak responses from Israel. Israel hesitates to go to war, which may lead to a two-front war or even a three- or four-front war. It's never ideal to divide one's forces. That is why Hezbollah has fired 7,500 missiles at Israel and 200 drone attacks since October 8th last year, and they're still not at war. So the Ring of Fire is very effective. It has a chilling effect due to the fear of enemies on multiple fronts. How to defeat the Ring of Fire? Ideally, in my opinion, knock out one enemy at a time and hope they don't all attack at once. The silver lining of October 7th is that Hamas is gone militarily. Logically, Hezbollah in Lebanon should be next. Terrorists, unlike Israel, put almost all their resources into offense, missiles, almost none into defense. They likely view their people as expendable. Therefore, in my opinion, a first strike is critical for Israel to try to take out most of the missiles and command and control sites very quickly. In my opinion, Israel cannot afford to wait for Hezbollah to attack first and perhaps overwhelm them. With the recent assassination of a Hamas leader in Iran, Iran has vowed revenge, a quote, bloodlust that must be satisfied, according to the supreme leader of Iran. But we have waited 3 weeks and no response from Iran or Hezbollah in Lebanon. Why? Are they chicken? That will be the subject of the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon. Cheers.